cold or flu. And have you ever wondered, how to prevent the cold or flu? It doesn't have to be, a thing that every time winter comes around, you have to have the cold or flu. And I know you hear a lot about getting your flu vaccine, and that helps to prevent the flu. But what can you do to prevent the cold and flu? There's things on the market, like Zicam and Theraflu that tell you they'll make you feel better when you're feeling cruddy. But wouldn't it be nice if you could just not feel cruddy and just not get sick and just not have to worry about it? Well, the number one way you can do that, according to the CDC, the World Health Organization, nurses, doctors, and places like that, is wash your hands. Washing your hands is the number one thing you can do to keep yourself healthy, prevent from getting the cold and flu. It's not been all that long, actually, that we've known this and been practicing this. Back in 1847, there was a Hungarian-born physician working in Vienna, and he was working with the residents, delivering babies, the obstetricians, and a lot of the babies that the residents helped to birth were dying from childbed fever, and he wanted to know why was this happening. Why did the midwives, why weren't they having such a problem with this? And he stepped back and looked at the practice to see what was going on, and what he found was that the residents were performing autopsies on patients prior to helping deliver these infants. And a lot of the patients they were doing autopsies on had died of sepsis, which is basically an overwhelming infection. And so they would work with these patients that had this overwhelming infection and then turn around and deliver children. Well, obviously, newborn infants don't have a very good immune system, and they got sick. So he thought he wanted to wash hands in between doing these autopsies and delivering babies. And actually, his colleagues thought he was crazy. They actually laughed at him. They figured it wouldn't work. But he implemented it anyway with his students, and he made them go ahead and do it. And within 3 months, the infant death rate dropped 20 folds. I mean, that's amazing. That's a huge number. So definitely just that little experiment itself showed how important washing your hands really is. Now, what happens with us when we develop cold and flu and stuff is that somebody will sneeze or they'll cough, droplets will come out, end up on the surface of your computer or on a phone, or somebody sneezes in their hands, they don't wash them, they touch the phone, you come behind them, you touch the phone, and then you touch your face, you scratch your nose or touch your mouth, and boom, next thing you know, you've got the cold or the flu. What you need to do is anytime you touch anything, doorknob, sink, computer, phone, anything, you need to wash your hands in between. One of the easiest things we have now is the hand sanitizers, which is really nice because you can carry those along with you and wash your hands pretty much in between anything. But the old-fashioned way with soap and waters, I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm also going to demonstrate the use of hand sanitizer. But when your hands are visibly soiled, you can actually see dirt on them, ink, whatever, you need to use soap and water. Hand sanitizer does not work. Hand sanitizer only works when your hands are visibly clean, and only 6 consecutive times. The 7th time you need to wash them with soap and water. So even though hand sanitizers are great, they're not a permanent thing. So let me show you how to wash your hands. First of all, you want to turn the soap and water on. You want the water to be warm. Then you just want to put some water on your hands, some soap. Now most people do this, and they call that washing their hands. That's not washing your hands. That's wasting soap is what that is. It's ineffective and it's done nothing. What you need to do is get the soap on your hands. It needs to be on your hands with friction, which is the rubbing, for 15 to 20 seconds to properly clean your hands. Most of us don't carry a stopwatch to time ourselves, especially when we're in public bathrooms. So one of the easiest ways that I found to do this is to recite the alphabet in your head. And while you're reciting your alphabet, make sure you're getting the soap on all the surfaces of your hand. You got nails, make sure you get it behind the fingernails. You got rings on. A lot of times you don't want to take it off and put it on the sink if you're in a public restroom, so just pull the ring up, get underneath the ring. Make sure you get in between the fingers real good. Palms of your hands, of course. thumbs, tops of the hands. Now when you get to the end of the alphabet, you want to rinse your hands. You're going to notice I'm leaving the sink running. I'm not turning it off right away. Most people tend to turn that sink off right away and then go dry their hands. So what I'm going to do is dry my hands first. Make sure you dry all the surfaces underneath the ring, in between your fingers. You want to make sure you get everything dry. And then I'm going to shut the sink off with the towel. Now the reason for that is my hands were contaminated before I touched the knobs. So if once I clean my hands, I use my clean hands to turn the knobs off again, I've basically just recontaminated my hands. So you don't want to touch the knobs of the sink again once your hands are clean. You want to use the towel or the paper towel or whatever you use to dry your hands to turn the sink off. Now the other thing is hand sanitizer. You need to purchase it at any store. Like I said, you can use this 6 consecutive times and then you have to wash your hands, or when your hands are not visibly soiled. And how you do this, put some in your hand, palm of your hand, and then you rub your hand together. Now most people tend to do this the same way they do washing their hands. They just kind of slap it on and wave their hands around until it dries. Not effective. It also needs the friction. It also needs to get on every surface of your hand. So this needs to be rubbed in until it dries, which takes a little bit of time. I mean, it doesn't dry instantly. Once it's all rubbed in, voila, hands again are nice and clean. And you're safe from the cold and flu. So again, World Health Organization, CDC, your doctor, your nurses, health professionals, all are preaching that if you want to keep away the cold and flu this year, best thing you can do for yourself is to wash your hands. Get plenty of water, drink plenty of water, plenty of exercise, plenty of sleep, but the number one thing, wash your hands.